Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Super Lunch Bros podcast, episode number 36. This is being recorded the same night as episode 35. I don't know if you could tell by my shirt.
Woo!
Yeah, so we're going to do some color commentary on... I'm Brendan.
And I'm Nate.
There's not audio delay. That was human delay. Anywho, so we had UFC 256 go down. We have some fun fights coming up, but also you just finished your last final.
Yes, I'm done with all of my classes for the last term, so I actually have a month break and a semester left.
Oh, sweet! That's so exciting. Like being done with school.
I know.
There's like few reliefs in life, like finishing your last class of school. Like whether it be high school or college, there's just like this thing that washes over you. Like, oh, I'm done. I can do anything now. I can have a life again.
Yeah, and as you know, I've been grinding pretty hard, especially the past month-ish. So, yeah, having this done today doesn't even feel real. I feel like I'm going to wake up and have school I have to go check and do, but no, I should settle in at some point later tonight.
That's awesome.
I actually get to relax a little bit. I know.
Okay, so I already gave my piece on the main event, but I'll give you the short version. Actually, no, I don't want to taint your taint. Anyway, I don't want to color your.
There's not really going to be much to taint because I only watched one fight on that whole card.
Oh
because
God!
I didn't
What
have
fight?
time to today. I know.
What fight did you watch?
Well, the only fight I cared about, which is the one that made me the saddest.
Oh, come on! You only watched Tony Ferguson lose?
Yes, that's all I did. And then I was like, well, fuck. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it all before the podcast. Lo and behold, I turned in my homework like 20 minutes ago. So, no, I only watched the one fight. I did hear that there were some judging shenanigans, though.
A little bit.
Surprise.
Yeah, I already talked about that. How I felt like there was a little bit. It wasn't bad judging. It was just one of those things where I didn't agree with it. So like, I'm not going to sit here and just shit on it and be like, oh, that's totally wrong or whatever. It's more of like I don't feel like they did a good job evaluating what was going on. But anywho, so let's turn this down because that's incredibly bright. But anyway, so Tony Ferguson, what's your take on the fight? I mean, more. What's your take? What's your take? Here, I'll pose this question to you. I'll ask you a series of questions. How did Tony Ferguson look?
I know. I mean, like, I wish it was a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think the short notice messed him up a little bit, and just the matchup was weird. I don't know. It was just kind of like what I was worried was gonna be the issue, that Charles Oliveira is extremely skilled and kind of a dark horse of the division, and it was just not a great matchup. Like, I didn't necessarily think there was anything like wrong with Tony. I
did.
What did you think was wrong with him?
So Tony Ferguson looked spent, man. Like that's not Tony Ferguson. Not El Kukui. That's not the boogeyman from a year ago. It's hard to know whether or not the Gaethje fight did this to him, but it's also hard to ignore the fact that he is in his he's past he's over 35. He's taking quite a bit of damage, and in his last fight he took extreme amounts of damage after 2 weight cuts, and comes out and looks
and then took this
flat.
fight on short notice, which was my biggest. That's kind of what I felt was this fight being short notice was maybe not the best for him, because I know a couple of years ago he could get away with taking a short notice fight like this and just being an absolute terror in the ring, but I don't think this was a smart career move filling in.
Yeah,
I think had he had a full camp to prepare for Charles Oliveira, I think it would have been a different fight, even if it was just 3 rounds. But
maybe, but I don't think he. I mean, I'm not saying he can't compete in the division anymore or that he can't come back and look extremely good. But from what I saw from this fight, he didn't look good, man. It's not sad in the same way that watching, BJ Penn fight later in his career was sad. That's a way different thing. It's more sad knowing the history of Tony Ferguson in this division where he was the dark horse. He was the guy putting everyone away, outclassing every single opponent they put in front of him, and never getting his due, never getting his title shot. And then the second he gets the title, it gets stripped from him for some bullshit reason. So knowing all of that and then seeing what it led to right now against a guy in Charles Oliveira who is a talented fighter, right? He's very good, but it's hard to know whether or not. So my takeaway from this fight is Charles Oliveira is legit. He's very good, and I think he would have been or could be, depending on Khabib's retirement, could be a challenge for him. And the other takeaway is, had we seen this Tony Ferguson fight Khabib, it would have been a shit show. It would have been the exact same thing. Khabib would have sat on him for 25 minutes. So it's hard for me to look at this and come out with anything positive towards Tony Ferguson. It's more, I don't think it was the short.
I feel the same way. I mean, like, I think he can still compete. I still think he can beat Charles Oliveira. I don't think it was. I think it was Charles. Like, if you take Charles Oliveira on his best day and Tony Ferguson on his worst, I think this is what it looks like. I don't think it was a good day. I don't think it's been a good year for him. And I know he's not getting any younger, but him being older, the fight on short notice, and his last fight turning out the way it was, and I don't know what his training is like right now, especially considering where he trains. Like, how much has he really been able to get done, and how similar has his training been since Justin to Charles compared to how he normally stays in shape, how he normally trains? Like,
how many people is he bringing up to Big Bear?
Exactly. And how many people is he actually sparring with? How many coaches is he working with on a regular basis? Like, is he kind of alone in the gym most of the time? It's a weird year as it is, and I definitely think there's probably a lot of factors that played into it. And like I said, I think Charles Oliveira just brought his best game to the show, and that's what you saw.
I mean,
Charles Oliveira completely prepared for a fight.
Yeah, but he also had that extreme armbar in the end of the first round, which was brutal. And then after that, there was no moment where you're like, "Oh man, Charles Oliveira is tuning him up, and he's gonna finish him at any moment here." It was just like
he cut him too.
Yeah, but he mostly laid on him for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, that was the best shot Charles had at beating Tony.
Yeah, it looked like the beginning of the Kevin Lee fight.
Yeah, it was the best thing it was pretty much the best way that Charles Oliveira could have planned to win this fight.
Yeah,
that's what I mean when I say it was his best night versus Tony's worst.
I just thought, dude, it looked like Tony didn't want to be there. When he was on the bottom, he wasn't rolling the way he usually does. And maybe that's a credit to Charles being as savvy as he is on the ground, but he wasn't going for the escapes. He wasn't attacking with elbows off his back, and he wasn't evading takedowns like he usually does. And he wasn't he didn't look the same. And again, this could be a credit to Charles Oliveira, but that's not Tony Ferguson. This is not the Tony Ferguson that, brutalize Anthony Pettis. This isn't the Tony Ferguson who destroyed the faces of everybody who was put in front of him. This is the Tony Ferguson who just had everything inside of his brain rocked around for 25 minutes against Justin Gaethje, and his leg kicked out from underneath him, and maybe he's never the same again.
I would need to see another fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm not prepared to bury Tony over this fight. Like,
I mean, me either. But he's also 37 years old or something.
Yeah,
he's not young.
His age is not
36
on his side for this. Like, I'm not.
He turns 37.
There's no argument there.
Yeah, he's at the lightweight. He's in the lightweight division, which is, I mean, historically, any division not light heavyweight and heavyweight is dominated by people under the age of 34. So
I think the hardest part for him though right now is that's going to be a hard thing to bounce back from to make a run for the belt, because there are so many people in the division that are putting it together and basically getting in line. Like,
but we also talked about it beforehand. Even if he won this fight, he's not getting a shot at the belt.
Yeah, and he didn't make his road any easier if he wants to get back there.
No, and do you think Charles Oliveira is getting a title shot after this?
No, definitely not.
No.
What do you think? What do you think is next in line for Charles?
Rafael dos Anjos.
Okay, I can see that. That's gonna be. I feel like that's gonna be a really boring fight.
Well, he could fight Dan Hooker, right?
Dan Hooker. Too high head in mind.
Well, he could fight Justin Gaethje, but by the looks of things and how things are shaking out, it makes the most sense for him to fight Rafael dos Anjos, and then if he gets that win, now he gets a title after that. And if Rafael dos Anjos beats Charles Oliveira, he gets a title shot next.
Yeah,
because there's no way he's not jumping the line over Conor or Justin right now, as much as I don't feel that Justin deserves the title shot next.
I feel like even Rafael dos Anjos beating Charles Oliveira doesn't put him in line for a title shot in lightweight. I feel like he'd at least have to get put two together.
It does after he just dominated Paul Felder.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but that wasn't that his return to lightweight though?
Yeah. And it was Dan Hooker on short notice, and I understand that. But Dan Hooker not Dan Hooker, sorry. It was Paul Felder on short notice. But yeah. But Dan Hooker versus Paul Felder was a barn burner. Like, it was a squeaky decision that Dan Hooker ended up getting. Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier was a relatively close fight. Right? And so this isn't even MMA math saying like one guy can beat another guy. It's more like, hey, they're all about at the same level. So if Rafael dos Anjos,
there's just kind of a pot of lightweights that you can stir around and pick a noodle out from.
Yeah. Well, RDA went out there and just demolished Felder for 5 freaking rounds. And I understand Felder on short notice. I get that. But let's say Felder has a full camp. I think that's a competitive fight. So
I still
RDA,
think RDA,
yeah. Well, RDA might not even he might not get the win, or he might get the win, but at least it's a close fight. So again, all at the same level. We're talking RDA, Paul Felder, Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier, all about at the same level on any given night, right? So we're talking 2, 5, 6, and 8. All of those guys are at the same level and trading wins with each other. Now, Dustin's going up for the maybe interim title, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if it's been decided against Conor yet. So they're fighting. You got Justin just waiting for probably the winner of that to fight for the title. And then everybody else is just in the mix. So if you have Charles Oliveira fight Rafael dos Anjos, I think the winner of that gets the title shot either after Justin or before Justin does, and make Justin fight one more time against like Dan Hooker. I think Dan Hooker versus Justin would be a fun fight.
That would be fun. Oh, God, I just want I want Justin to just fight the winner of Conor Poirier.
I mean, he
risk
can.
it against someone else just because of how. Yeah.
I mean,
But
no, that's probably what they're
that might be
setting
a
up
long
anyway.
wait. Yeah. Because either of those fights is going to be a fun fight. Either him versus Dustin or him versus Conor.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be tomorrow, and he doesn't want to fight anybody else. So like, he's probably just going to end up waiting for the winner of that. But dude, it's lightweight, and everybody in the top 10, yeah, top 10. Top 8. Let's go top 8. Everybody in the top 8, if you gave a title shot to after a win, it's completely fine. There's nobody in the top 8 right now that you can say, oh, they don't deserve a title shot.
Yeah. All right.
Tony,
especially after one win, I can see that. There's an argument for it.
Because Tony's ranked number 3, and
fuck. I mean, even if he got a win after this, I wouldn't be mad at.
Like, I want to see him fight Conor.
Yeah,
this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time. A clearly compromised Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor, maybe on his A game, maybe not. This is the perfect time for that.
Or if Tony fought Dan Hooker, I wouldn't be.
Probably a good fight. I think he beats Dan Hooker.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think that would be solid. It would at least get him back in the running.
Hey, I don't think it's hard for me to imagine Tony Ferguson ever getting a title shot at this point. It just is. I'm not going to put it
the
past
universe
him.
Speaking.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? He's going to come back and get a win against who? I don't even know if they would give him another person in the top 8 anymore. They're probably going to feed him to someone outside the top 10 looking to move up. I don't want to see him.
That is a terrible move for someone outside the top 8 if you want to get them to move up to give them Tony Ferguson, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So like, I don't know if they're going to give him another matchup in the top 8, but if they do,
if you just mollywop someone they try and give him from a low rank, I mean, he could get another title. I think there's a way for him to get another title shot. It's just not going to be easy. And if the lightweight title gets tied up by Conor McGregor, that's going to be even harder.
If Conor McGregor beats Dustin Poirier, I don't think he stays. I think he retires.
But that's the problem.
I think he's
so
retired,
now you got,
and then Justin fights somebody else. I think that's the end of. I don't see Conor McGregor sticking around. He's never defended a belt.
Yeah.
Goes in, gets a win, gets his money, gets out of there.
Wait. Wow, that's true. He has never defended a belt, has he?
Nope. He beat Aldo, got the belt. Went up, beat Eddie Alvarez, got the belt. Then he never defended it, vacated it, went and fought Mayweather.
Nate. Didn't he fight Nate?
Not after. Oh, yes, he fought him at 170. That's correct. Yeah. He fought him at 170. Did he do that? No, he did that beforehand. He fought Nate before he went up.
Was that before Oliver? You're right. That was.
It had to have been, right?
Yes. Because then after the second Nate win was when he fought Alvarez and won the belt.
Yeah, it just. Let's see here. Oh, I like how on his Wikipedia thing there's a arrest record. Yeah, so he. All right, so he beat Chad Mendez for the interim title, and then he knocks out Aldo, which is their anniversary was this week, so that was all over everywhere. Loses to Nate, and then he beat Nate. Then he went back down to 155 and then knocked out Eddie and got the belt. Then went and fought Mayweather. Came back and fought Khabib, lost. There was 2 years in between that, and then there was another year and a half in between that fight and when he came back and fought Donald Cerrone at welterweight.
That's right.
So he's never defended a belt, and I don't see him doing that in the future. So if he does get this belt, if there is a belt on the line, if there isn't a belt on the line, then he fights Dustin. Then the winner, somebody else fights Conor for the official belt after that, I guess. I don't know if they try to get Khabib to come back for that fight. I know he's not going to do that. And then, if he does get the belt after that, then he'll leave. But that's the thing is, like, I think the only way you keep Conor in the picture is if you don't give him a belt.
It's a fair point. And that's until he goes off and fights Jake Paul or whatever he wants to do.
I don't care at this point. I think what Conor McGregor did in MMA is complete. It's been bookended. I think it's fine the way it is. I think he could put a stamp on it by coming back and getting another win and possibly another title, interim or otherwise. But what he did in MMA was incredible. I think he had obviously it was more complete than what Brock Lesnar did. You know, Brock Lesnar ended.
Absolutely.
I think Brock Lesnar ended as like a 50-50 fighter or won over 50-50, right? I think he was like 6-5 or 5-4 or something like that. But similar to what Brock Lesnar did, right? Brock Lesnar came in with, a ton of hype behind him. And then after his first loss, like, gets the title very early, defends it a couple times, and then is gone forever. And then comes back for a money fight at UFC 200, and then is gone forever, right? And then his name is always out there, like, oh, is John Jones going to fight him? Is DC going to fight him? Is he going to come back and fight Stipe? Blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. Conor's kind of the same thing. He came in. I said he's more complete. He clearly showed that he deserved the title before he got there. And then when he did get the title shot interim, and then he got the title shot, he got those, and then he went up and he did all the things. And I think he has a more complete career and obviously a more expansive career than Brock Lesnar, but it was very similar in the impact that he made on the UFC. And I think if he never came back, like, people are still going to talk about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, it's hard to compare because it was different eras and kind of different milestones that they created in the UFC.
Yeah.
Around themselves, but yeah, that's a somewhat comparable. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Let's see. I mean, I already talked about this, but so next week we have Stephen Thompson fighting Jeff Neal.
Next week we have the great fight night card.
Yeah, I know. This, like, oh yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, you should really go back and watch the pay-per-view and then watch all the fights on the ESPN Plus, because, dude, there were a lot of good fights, and they were fantastic.
I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands over the next week, so that is likely gonna happen.
So welterweight, right? Stephen Thompson is fighting someone who's ranked lower than the last guy that he fought and dominated, right? So Stephen Thompson's last fight was against Vicente Luque, in which he knocked him down repeatedly. Yes, there was some back and forth a little bit, and Vicente got his in as well, but the clear and decisive win went with Stephen Thompson. And I posited that the reason why Stephen Thompson hasn't fought anybody else is people are afraid of fighting him. Not that they're afraid of him the same way people are afraid of I've made this comparison of, like, Francis Ngannou. People are afraid of Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
Right? I don't think people are afraid of Stephen Thompson. I think people are afraid of what happens to your career when you fight Stephen Thompson. Because, like, if you get a boring win, nobody cares. And Stephen Thompson comes out looking like gold. There's not a lot of build up to it. Stephen Thompson doesn't talk shit.
Ooh, I got a good comparison for different reasons. Stephen Thompson is similar to Ryan Hall in the welterweight division.
Yes, that's a much better comparison.
There's not a lot to be gained from fighting him, but you have to game plan so differently.
Yep.
From what you would have to do for a normal fight, and your best skill set just might not be enough to win you that fight, just because of how different they fight than every other fighter that you fight. So
yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna train for 3 months to fight. If you fight like a full fight camp, you're gonna train for 3 months to fight this insane karate style fighter who has a habit of making people look stupid, win, lose, or draw. He has a habit of making everybody look dumb, right? And you're going to go out there and then train for something that isn't going to necessarily improve your skills at beating the guys who are ranked above him because nobody else fights like that. It's like, so, and then if you do win, like I said, Stephen Thompson is squeaky clean. You're not going to get him bad mouthing people. He is extremely respectful. He doesn't swear. So this is what I said I wanted to see. So if he does end up
like you less because you beat him.
Yeah, exactly. You went out and beat the MMA's nice guy. Like, how dare you? But no, if he does beat Jeff Neal, who is ranked number 11, right? So it's not like he went so far outside the top 10 to fight a nobody. A Damian Maia fight would be fun. I'm not watching that Tyron Woodley fight. I don't think he's fighting anymore. Michael Chiesa might be okay. Neil Magny, I think he gets the win in that one. Jorge Masvidal, he already beat Leon Edwards. Can't get anybody to fight him. Gilbert Burns would be fun. I think because Stephen Thompson's still ranked number 5.
Ooh, I know where you're going with this.
I think it'd be fun to watch him fight Colby Covington.
Yes. The nicest, least fucking like shit talker in the entire welterweight division put up to the biggest shit talker in the entire UFC.
And that's what I said. What I was saying was what I said was
Colby Covington.
Colby Covington. What is he gonna say about Stephen Thompson? There's nothing to grab at. There's
hair
nothing
stupid.
Your hair looks dumb. Like you have to still teach classes for karate.
You train with children. You're really nice.
And even if you do talk shit, what's Stephen Thompson gonna say back? He's like, we got different opinions about things, but God bless him. He's not gonna talk shit back. So he's gonna come out squeaky clean. And I think
Thompson is a terrible fight for a lot of people. He might be the worst fight for Colby Covington.
Yes.
What? I can't sell this fight.
So I think it would be fun because if he can get past Colby, that means has a good chance at beating Kamaru Usman. And I want Stephen Thompson to get one more title shot before he retires. That's what I was getting at. I just want to see him get one more title shot.
I want to see that fight. That would be
fun. Let's see. We got Jose Aldo fighting Marlon Vera. You got Marlon Moraes fighting
such a great card.
Rob Font, yeah. You got Greg Hardy fighting Marcin Tybura.
Shit. Did Anthony Pettis just get put on this card?
I don't know, but he's on this card too.
Fucking fight night of the year.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back and watch those fights from this past weekend. They're really good.
I most definitely will.
And congratulations on finishing your last final.
Thank you. It feels fantastic.
All right. This was a short installment, but the same goes for every week. Thank you for listening.
Stay tuned for our next podcast where we preview Cobra Kai Season 3 coming out in January.
Oh, you know what we should do? Let's watch it with whoever's listening to this. Maybe I don't know how to get people who are interested. I mean, people watch MMA have to be into that, right? I don't know. Maybe they're not. Doesn't matter. My dad watches Cobra Kai. He doesn't watch any of the shit that I watch, and he likes Cobra Kai. Everybody has to like that show.
Yeah.
So when is the release date? Cobra Kai.
I think it comes out early game.
Season 3. January 8th.
Yo.
All right, cool. So what we should do is leading up to that, maybe starting next week, we'll go through and we'll watch season 1 and season 2 again. We can parcel it up into like 3 episodes or so, and we'll talk about them as we go. That'll be fun.
Hell yeah.
All right, dude. Okay, thank you again, everybody who listened. You're the best. Like, subscribe, recommend this to everybody else, comment, post, do all the things.
Oh, if you feel like for reason, by all means.
Okay, we're losing Nate. All right.
Nope.
Before this runs completely off the rails, I hope everybody has an amazing day, and I can still hear him, but he's cutting in and out. I don't know if everybody else.
I'm still here.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you hate our face, listen on Spotify.
Yes, do that. All right, everybody. Take it easy.
See you.